I have got a PhD in life. I'm spending my whole weekend in my pajamas and I'm not doing shit. You don't pay my bills or suck my dick. So like, what do I care what some random person on the internet thinks of me? And new year, new me, you gotta have some fun. God, Tim, everything you touch just like is amazing. And I want to tell that person, no the fuck it's not. I'm only trying to make one fucking person happy, and that's Tim Castleman. What up, everybody? Hello from lovely and beautiful and sunny, although looking outside, maybe possibly about to rain, London. We are here on our final full day in jolly old England. We started the day off with a lovely and romantic COVID test. We got to go find a place here in London. We got to pay 39 euros a piece. And then we had some wonderful lab workers shove cotton swabs, basically, I would say all the way up to the brain.
Yeah, my tears are coming down just thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, we had closed eyes. It really wasn't bad, actually. You know, it wasn't terrible. They were super gentle,
wasn't
professional.
Terrible.
We got in and out. And
it was very quick.
Yeah.
Because we found the place in the alley that no one knows about, which was...
Listen, if you ever need to know the spot, go to the concierge desk at
hats off to
fancy
him.
hotel, and they or one of the people that, you know, at those fancy hotels that opens doors or fetches cabs or whatever, he knew exactly where to go.
Exactly.
Because the first place couldn't even get us in today.
Right.
Yeah, which is absolutely crazy if you think about... how busy they must be to be able to turn away business.
Yeah.
In this other place, we literally just walked in and we're able to be tested and seen. Did the antiviral test, I guess it was,
or antigen or something.
Some anti
so many
thing.
tests.
Yeah. Anti $100.
As long as it gets us on the plane, that's all.
Yeah. And then they go, okay, great. We got your swab. We'll email you and text you with your information. And I would say less than 2 hours later, we both knew that we were COVID negative.
Yes.
Yay, USA, right? So we can go home to our home country and resume our normal dull lives back in America, especially compared to our fun, outstanding adventures in London today, which we'll cover in just a bit. But what I wanted to do is talk about the remaining time at the I Am Marketing Summit. Now, to be clear, this is our second attempt because the first one went off the rails quick. Went even further into the woods, and I'd like to keep, some business relationships in place, and I certainly don't want to be questioned or arrested by the police. And I thought, you know what? Better I just go ahead and fire that one and burn that off so that no one gets to hear the diatribe that I went on for a solid hour, which I would just refer to as scorched earth. Is what that podcast would have been. But you guys will never get to hear it. Yes, you missed some great tea, if you will. But again, I'd like to have some business colleagues and some people on the internet that don't hate my fucking guts, and not having the legal system intervening in my life for the next, 2 to 20 years. So with that in mind, let's take you back now to the end of day 2. We had a great time doing the social darts thing. That was really fun. Then they took us on a booze cruise. Now, the booze cruise was supposed to start at 8:30 sharp, but it got J-cruised, as we're referring it to now, and it didn't really start until about 9
That's a good
PM.
pun, Tim.
Yeah.
That's a good pun.
J-Cruise, an amazing human being. He has six-pack abs.
Best dancer ever, we might have to say, yes.
Always dressed to the nines, looks amazing, talks amazing. I mean, he speaks in the accent. Who couldn't love J-Cruise? The only thing J-Cruise doesn't love is ever showing up on time. And if you're going, was J-Cruise like a teenager? No, he's probably in his late 30s, early 40s, like me. So, needless to say, we got on the boat. We started having some drinks. And everyone was like, okay, are we actually taking off, or did they just pay for the booze part of the cruise? They were like, look, you can have the booze or the cruise, but you guys, your budget, you can't afford both. So we had a great time, had a couple drinks, and it was a beautiful night, not too windy, not too cold. And the thing that was amazing is that, there's been a real evolution in the world of internet marketing in terms of the guys that I kind of came in. If you hear comedians, they go, oh, that was in my class, there was this guy, that guy, that guy. And it's amazing to see the transformation. I mean, we used to go to these events, get absolutely shithoused all night. Wild parties, strip clubs, VIP bottle service, all of these, penis extension activities, on top of, whatever nefarious and illegal activities people partook in. Luckily for me, that only included weed, the devil's lettuce, as they call it, right? The thing that can still legit get you thrown in jail in Lubbock, Texas. It was a totally different night last night. In fact, the star of the show last night was Justin and Nikki Sardi's daughter. Now, I'm not going to mention her name because, she didn't consent to that, and she is a minor. But just an absolute cutie patootie, as my mother would say, wearing her rain boots.
Oh,
which I
those
thought
so
was
cute with the little handles on them.
Yeah,
Yep.
just an ultimate doll and sweetheart of a girl. And, of course, the DJ was playing all the tunes all night for them, including her. And she decided to get out on the dance floor. Then Jay Cruz had to come out and try to upstage her.
Yes.
And I'm happy to say that he lost. He definitely lost. And when Justin and Nikki's daughter went on the stage, everybody stopped, everybody watched, everyone's clapping. And it just, this is probably one of my favorite evolutions, I would say, of this career, is like the people that are finding happiness, finding relationships that matter, finding, what makes them happy, and ultimately starting families, blending families, whatever it may be. So just a phenomenal time. Had a couple drinks, didn't get too crazy. They wanted to go out and hit up another spot. Little tip for you. This is a pro tip. It took me many hangovers and apologies to learn. You always go to the first spot. You never go to the second spot. And if you have a death wish, you go to the third or fourth spot. So when they offered to go to second spot, we were like, yeah, we'll meet you there. We got the Uber. We came home because we have to be responsible adults and get ready for day 3. Now, the thing about day 3's content was absolutely amazing. Brian Anderson talked. Ron Douglas talked. Rob and Kennedy talked. We're talking about stuff about how to set up a membership, how to set up webinars and kill it, how to write email marketing. It's just absolutely phenomenal information and content shared with that. We even got a bonus session from Simon on his rapid weight loss and how he was able to accomplish that safely. And then we got to close out the event with Rich Schefren reading us an audio book referred to as a previous edition of Steal Your Winners. There was a pitch involved, of course, with that, which I have my opinions on, but I'll keep those to myself again because I need, 1 or 2 allies left in this world. I mean, I figure if my ex-wife and ex-girlfriend bother to vacation together, that perhaps maybe I need some people on my side of the army, if you will.
Yeah.
And overall, I will say the content from this event was some of the best content I've ever had shared because it's shared with people that are doing real world stuff right now, what's working, what's not. It was absolutely amazing content. The logistics of it, the pain in the ass of having to come overseas, get adjusted to jet lag, find out the hotel had changed, having the schedule, having 4 different speakers drop out through various reasons, and then the schedule conflicts and changes from people. Not saying Jay Cruz, but someone that resembled and sounded and looked a lot like Jay Cruz, who, despite all of his trappings of wealth, apparently doesn't have a watch that tells time, led to some delays. But overall, still a great time. And I thought Simon and Chelsea did an amazing job, all things considered. We had a great day doing the social darts. We had fun with the booze cruise. And I understand last night there was a big party to blow it all down. We didn't get the invite, but that was okay because by that time, come 5 o'clock, when the old whistle yelled to let you know you were off work at 5 p.m., I was done. I was done. I was smoked. There was no way that I wanted to be around anybody. And came back to the room and found my happy place by listening to some music and just having sweet, sweet silence. sweet, sweet silence through the year. And like I said, ultimately just a great event, great to connect with people. I've always said the magic happens outside the room. So in addition to the great content, which I was listening to inside, outside I was able to reconnect with a lot of people and fill my head with a bunch of ideas on the directions that maybe I should be moving in my business versus just, not doing very much of anything. It was hilarious to talk to a lot of these guys, and they'd be like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then they'd come to me and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing anything. And they're like, yeah, ha, ha, ha. I'm like, no, I'm serious. Like I couldn't tell you what my email password is to get into my email provider right now. And that's not like a brag or like, oh, you must be crushing it. No, I haven't done anything. But this event was a gentle kick in the ass and a positive step forward, and definitely has some thoughts and ideas on what what I should be doing moving forward. Now, Sue, I've probably been to like 20, 25 events, but this was your first international trip. Again,
Yes.
want to point that out. And your first one to attend of these live, I believe. So what did you think overall about your time here?
I think that they had a stellar cast of speakers. I agree, and I recognize pretty much all these names. I like the variation. I think there was a nice variation, and it was great to meet some of these people that I've admired from afar in person. I will say, even like Robin Kennedy. I know of them, and very bright people.
Yeah, and they got to speak. They were added last minute.
Yes.
But they were phenomenal. They were great. You could tell they work really, really well together.
Yeah, great team.
Yeah.
Very interesting guys. And I thought as a whole, really, the event was good, for sure. I mean, the content, like you said, was, especially the last day.
Well, I was thinking about
great.
this moment, a few minutes before we started recording podcasts when we were both indisposed in the loo. And I was thinking, I got what I wanted out of this event. Like,
Good.
the content's great and awesome, but really the chat that I had with Dean Holland, I'm not going to be like, oh, it was life-changing. It just was reaffirming, and it kind of was like, hey, man, like, you're on the right path. Like, you're doing what you need to do in terms of, figuring it all out. And I just think, one, the secret is you don't try to figure it all out. You just kind of go day by day, or, you plan for a little bit in advance instead of trying to be like, well, 20 years from now, I want to. Because let's face it, if you had a 5-year plan 5 years ago, that thing went out the fucking window when COVID desecrated people's lives and businesses for the last 18 to 24 months, depending on what you count. So overall, I felt like even with some of the snafus, which happen in all events and all walks and all, everything like that, I still felt like the content, it was actual content. That's what I really appreciated about it. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to tease you and then you got to buy X, Y, Z. It was like, no, hey, I'm going to give you everything that you need to do. Oh God, why can't Sean? What's this? The first guy, first day. He gave a presentation on webinars that was absolutely amazing.
Right.
Yeah, doing the hot seat thing that we did, where it was, kind of like the Shark Tank, and you come up with ideas.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was super fun, and gets the brain going, and just being around super successful people. I think all the speakers are 7-figure a year earners, and all different ways, and it's just a good.
Yeah, and I think there was kind of a whole over, there was a gist of like, I could be wrong, but, stop it with the whole launch shit, basically. Focus on one thing and focus on that for a while. Get feedback from your customers, make it better. So I heard that from a number of people over and over again.
I think one of the biggest things when you come to events, you get so many great ideas and you go, oh, fuck, I've got to implement them.
Yeah, of course.
I got to implement them all. I got to get a podcast, a YouTube channel, content out there, emails, webinar, a SaaS, a MASH, and everyone goes, oh, shit. And it's like, hey, Rome was not built in a day. But instead of that, why don't you focus on one level? So, for instance, with me, like, we're focusing on this podcast currently. We've backlogged. I mean,
I would say we have a good 20.
At least, yeah.
I would say.
And we are recording machines this week. I think we've
Yeah.
probably done, I think this is probably our 10th recording.
I think you're right.
8 of them will see the light of day, which is a pretty damn good average, you know. But I mean, if you think about it, like that's half of what I probably had before over the course of a year and a half with spottiness and you know, just that. But because I'm focusing solely on this one thing, we're getting it done, we're getting it out there, and ultimately, you know, we're headed in the right direction.
Right.
And it's really tough, especially when you come to these events and you see guys that are years ahead of you to be like, oh shit, I got to catch up. And it's like, no, you don't. I mean, you will eventually. If you step by step, brick by brick, bird by bird, whatever analogy you want to do, it's important that instead of trying to do 10 things super shitty, you say, hey, I'm going to take a year, or dare I say even 2 years, in order to get something done. Because with Chris's presentation, he was like, we did this, you know, webinars took us about 2 years to figure out.
Yes.
This took us about 2 years. And if you're trying to do something in your life and improve upon it, that shit's going to take some time. This isn't a Hollywood movie or a sitcom where it's finished in 18 minutes.
That was my overextending takeaway from a lot of the guys. And I totally agree. I mean, it goes for anything, even like losing weight with Simon's presentation, you know? So, because of course we live in this, like, got to get it now, you know, got to make the money in like 2 days.
Not only that,
kind of
but we live in a society where you can't fail. You can't look stupid. You can't try something and be like, that's not for me, you know?
Right.
I know we've talked about it on previous podcasts, but it's like right now I'm learning product photography. Now, when I made these ideas and thoughts in January, I was like, cool. Well, by April, I'll be ready to do portrait photography because I will have mastered product photography just like I did concert photography, forgetting that it's taken me 5 fucking years to get where I am now with concert photography. So it was just a good reminder of, hey, what if you just said all year, I'm just going to focus on product photography. And then next year, add the next level. And you're right. So many people were saying, get off again, you know, not only do we evolve as human beings, we evolve in businesses.
Yes.
And we all love the launch model.
And not that there's anything wrong with launches at all.
They're great money.
Yep.
You know, you build a customer.
Right.
Everybody's got to do them. I still do a yearly launch, but the difference is I'm not trying to be magical and come up with something every
which is exhausting,
which
you know?
is absolutely exhausting. And it was good to hear people say those exact same things that you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Rob and Kennedy did a thing where it was like, hey, we're going to give you a number 1 through 5. And it was crazy to see people that were like 4s and 5s as far as issues with the business.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes, that's true.
You could look around the room and everybody was standing at something.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just a good reminder of, you know, yes, these people are successful, but they didn't do anything magical. You know, they spent the time and the energy to figure out one thing, master it, or not even master, but feel like they were at a level of extreme competency before moving on to the next thing.
I would say, you know, just a quick overview of all the speakers. They were definitely, for the most part, masters of like, and yes, they've tried different things in the past, but, you know, the thing that's been getting them going is they're focusing on this one thing, whatever it was, whether it was a software or like Ron with his, you know, the webinar con thing. And that was a really interesting talk.
SaaS, you know, we had copy tips and, you know, like a service providers, you know, like Chris talked about. And it was just really nice to see, again, that all roads lead to Rome, but there's different paths to get you there. And that... I'm guilty of this. You come to an event and you look at someone and you go, oh, I want your life. I want your business. Instead of going like, no, water your own grass. If you want that life, that's great. But you don't get it by changing the dream. You get it by, you know, watering your own grass and growing your own garden, so to speak. So it was really good. You know, for me, I think it gave me some great connections, some great reconnections. And ultimately, that should lead to more money, but also more fulfillment in the things that I'm doing. And I'm very, very excited about that. And on a personal standpoint, like the number of people that came up to me and they were like, hey, when things settle down and we all get home from traveling, like, I do want you to call me and like, I want to figure out a way, you know, to help you out of your situation. So it was, you know, it's nice to know that people care about you beyond a surface level.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah.
You know, and I feel like the marketing community too, people have your back, you know? I mean, this got maybe a quasi weird reputation at times, but that's one thing I've noticed about the internet marketing community is people do stick up for you and, you know, they really care, you know?
And I
Wouldn't you
think,
say that?
I definitely feel like it sometimes, you know, but it's hard digitally and it's hard, you know, and I mean, you got to remember, we haven't seen each other.
Yeah, right.
Most people in
Yeah,
2 years.
that's true.
You know,
Yep.
so it's a very different, it's very different when you're face to face with
Yes,
somebody.
absolutely.
And you get
Yes.
the chance to do that. And I know we talked about this on the previous podcast about the guy who said, you know, I flamed him in 2012 and I
yeah.
you know, ruined his, you know, self-esteem, reputation, blah, 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 whatever it was, you know. Guess who I got a friend request 2 minutes after the event ended, right? Life comes full circle.
It does.
You just never know. That person that maybe you have a beef with today could turn out to be your best, not your best friend, but
Absolutely.
a friendly associate. Someone that you were like, I will never, ever fucking work with this or that. And you're just like little, you know.
Right.
Life has a funny way of making you look like a fool when you go, oh, I'm not going to do this. And life's like, really? You're not? Okay, well, let's put you in a situation where you are going to do that. And then hopefully you learn a lesson. So overall, a wonderful, wonderful time. Really enjoyed our time in London. You know, we had an amazing day today as tourists. We decided, okay, after we got the COVID stuff done, we were going to see the few remaining sites that we had not seen. Of course, there's a million sites. So we went to Churchill's War Room.
Yes, that was fascinating.
Which was super fascinating. I've been there twice now, and I loved it just as much this time as the first time. And I don't know why. Like, I'm not a history guy, but just something about Winston Churchill. Maybe it's because he's short and portly and sour. I just like him, and I just appreciate his contribution to the world and his mindset. And, you know, like certain, I don't know, you know, Dan Kennedy calls them hooks that people put out there, but certain hooks of Winston, if I may call him that, really just like resonated with me. Like the fact that, you know, he hates noise. I hate noise. You know, it's like screaming kids, you know, someone that uses their phone and has it on with all the fucking notifications so it sounds like a slot machine. Winston hated it so much that he actually had the typewriting company come up with silent typewriters.
Right. No, I love that.
And you go, oh, well, okay, what's the big deal? You guys got to remember, this is 1935. You know?
Those typewriters are like clunk, clunk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like loud as hell.
He had signs posted everywhere. He didn't want any whistling. And
no
basically
whistling,
he was like, noise distracts me when I'm trying to think or trying to speak or trying to write. And as someone that suffers with that, like, I definitely understand it. I mean,
I get that, like the water torture in the bathroom the last couple of nights.
Yeah. We finally have a working shower, which was glorious and fabulous.
Yes.
But for the first couple of days, the drip, 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 drip. You know, it's like, okay, is this a psychological torture that I need to be aware of? I mean, I don't consider myself a VIP of the government, but is there some type of foreign agency that's trying to take us out? So it was just phenomenal. And the great thing about the Churchill war rooms is, like, the first part's kind of because you're like, okay, cool, that's where this happened and that happened, whatever. And then you walk into this multimedia room that's, you know, feels like it's a city square block, and it's like everything from Winston Churchill, from birth until death, every presentation, every speech, every misstep, everything like that. So just a really fascinating look. And then you get to see the inside of, like, the old map.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Where you could see where Winston slept.
Yep.
You could see they preserved
the bedrooms and that was pretty wild.
Yeah, it just was wild.
It was like this underground bunker, and all I could imagine was like being down there for months and months and months.
Yeah, and this isn't in some like foreign area non-site. It's above their current war offices that, by the way, were police corridored off with, I would say, no less than 20 police vehicles between the two sides. I mean, it was a very serious part of town. I don't know what was going on there or what they were protecting from, but it was definitely...
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, why are these police here? You know?
It was awesome. And then we went to... go see the park. What was the first park?
The St. James Park.
St. James Park.
Which was fabulous.
Absolutely beautiful.
Beautiful
Got to
flowers.
See, flowers. And it's like, I know this sounds crazy, but it's like so green and lush here. I'm just not used to that.
No,
like,
I'm not either.
I'm going to go back to, you know, blowing dust and desolate desert in West Texas. And, you know, this place is just green beyond repair. So we did that. Then we made our way over to Buckingham Palace.
Oh, that was fabulous.
Yeah, got a chance to check that out, and the Queen was in residence.
She was,
which she was very
She
thrilled.
was looking out her window at Tim's shoe.
Yep,
the whole
I had the New
time.
Balance out there,
Yep.
and yeah, we took that everywhere that we could. We put it in front of 10 Downing Street door.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep,
we put it in front
the
of
legit
literally
door.
in front of Buckingham Palace. You know, the shoe has seen some shit while it's been
The
here.
shoe has seen some
and
shit,
everybody
yeah.
is laughing about it, and they think it's the funniest thing
Yeah.
ever. So I might have made up the fact that I have a child back home that's doing a homework assignment to make me seem a little less odd, but you know, we'll keep that secret between
Such a good dad.
you and me. Yeah, such a great imaginary dad.
Yes.
I'm the dad of the year in the imaginary
That's true.
world for sure. So then we did that, and then we took another stroll through Hyde Park, which was just as beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Yes.
got to meet the pigeon lady.
Oh, the pigeon lady. That's
Yeah.
right.
The pigeon and the squirrel lady, really.
Yes, she
because
had
what would you
three
say,
big bags
I
of
don't know, 3 or
bread
4
and nuts.
Yeah, huge. I mean, like shopping bags
Yes.
full of bread and then nuts for the
Yep.
squirrels. And they knew her.
They
because
did.
When she came on the grass, all the pigeons gathered
They landed
around.
on her. Yep. Sadly, there was no Macaulay Culkin to
there was
surprise
no
her,
home,
but
this was no
you
Home
know,
Alone scene, but
no.
it was very awesome to see
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
And even she was impressed with the shoe.
Yeah, we did get a shoe with
She's
the
like,
photo
"What
of
a
the
great
birds."
idea.
Yeah, we were like, yeah, my son's going to be so proud. Thank you. And then we got the fuck away from her as quickly as possible, right? And then we did a little bit more walking around, and we asked a fine British gentleman, hey, we don't want this touristy shit.
Who had a lovely accent, by the way.
We would like
Yes.
to go to some real life pub.
We want to go where the people go.
We want to go where the people of England
Yes.
go, not the tourists of England go. And he directed us to a great little Italian spot. Actually, we directed us to a pub, but it was overflowing.
It was crowded.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
ridiculous.
This little alleyway, though, kind of
Yes.
off the beaten path.
Yes. And
which
what
is-
is the
yeah.
name? Let's shout it out. What was the name of that Italian
Oh,
place?
yeah. Let's see.
Well, as Sue looks for it,
down.
we got some Italian, and you go an Italian in London. But yes, this guy's family had been there since 1978. He was the proprietor of it. You know, the food is obviously handmade and just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, shout out to Da Corradi, Corradi. I'm probably saying it wrong.
Yeah,
but
we're probably butchering the name, but you
Yes.
should definitely check them out. Authentic,
yes.
real Italian
in
food
Shepherd Market
Yeah.
in Mayfair.
made by really great people.
Highly recommended.
Yeah.
Well, it was so nice to see how proud he was of his food. And he came out, make sure everything was okay, and he was just, you can tell, like, very pride of ownership, which I love to see. You
Yeah.
don't see that often.
No,
you
and
know?
I told Sue this, like when I went to Venice, the proprietor, you know, they get their shit dropped off daily. In a lot of these places. And he brought the mushrooms out as if it was a brand new child and was like, look at these mushrooms that we received today. And he was like, you know, here's what's on the menu. No fish today because we sent it back because we weren't proud of it or
Right.
weren't happy with it. And you're right. You don't see that
You don't.
at any restaurant that
They're
I...
like, yeah, it's only a day old. Serve that, you know, in
we'll
America.
just sell the fish. It's about to turn.
All right.
Type thing.
And we won't
So-
lose any money, God forbid.
yeah,
so.
and at the end of it, you know, I always make a joke, especially when we finish it. You know, they joke with you, oh, so you didn't like it, you know, and I always joke like, oh, I was going to lick the plate clean, but you interrupted me. And he's like, no, you could totally do that, joking. But he said, like, it really makes me happy to see people finish their meals
Yes,
and
yep.
enjoy the food. And the other thing about here, they don't give a shit how long you sit out there. There's no
Right.
clock. There's no
No
well, if we
pressure.
turn these tables 14 times, we'll be able to do that. It's like, in fact, when we were done, I was like, hey man, I'll take the check. And he goes, no. He's like, finish your beer. Like, I'm not rushing you. I'm not telling
Right.
you you have to get up and go. Now, I will also say this. We tried to find food the other night, and we had to end up going to street pizza
Oh,
again
yeah.
because every other place was busy
packed.
or booked, you
Yep.
know, whether it was understaffed or places were like, oh, no, we're reservation only tonight because of
Yeah, it was
the-
very difficult to find a seat.
yeah.
True.
So, you know, it's not all roses and stuff, but when you find a small place off the beaten path like this, it was awesome.
I definitely think it was my favorite restaurant all week long. I really enjoyed that place.
Yeah, and if
Everything
you stay
about
away
it.
from tourist spots, you normally don't get tourist prices, and you just get better
yeah.
food.
Don't go to the
and
tourist
better
spots.
experience. I mean, to give you an idea, what did I say? The English breakfast was there. We saw it on the menu. Let's say it was like
18 or
I thought it was less than. I thought it was like
Was it?
13 pounds.
Oh, okay.
If I wanted that same thing here at the hotel breakfast, you're looking 30 pounds. You know.
Yeah.
And I mean, you
Ouch.
go, well, that's not much, but it adds up over time for
Right.
sure. So, just a phenomenal time. Walked around a couple more neighborhoods, got to see some shops, got to see how the locals live, if you will, and then grabbed an Uber back here to the hotel. to recharge our batteries, to record this podcast, and then we are going to go find some authentic fish and chips somewhere.
Oh, yes.
Somewhere before we leave. And then I think for Sue, I think that checks all
I
your
think it
boxes,
does.
with the exception of the tube. We had the opportunity to
That's
ride
okay.
the tube, but we declined because
Yeah.
we were like, I don't want to risk COVID right now,
Right.
you know? And we were,
I don't really need to see the tube.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
like to say tube, and
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
yeah,
so.
we did go down to a station. I mean, we did see the place.
We looked at it.
Yeah, we
True,
looked at it.
yep.
Yeah. It's kind of like Jim's. I looked at it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't go there, but
Yeah.
I did look at it and observe and enjoy.
I will say one of my favorite things today was seeing Buckingham Palace because, again, you could see it in the movie. I was just overwhelmed how amazing. And the architect, I'm constantly overwhelmed with the architecture around here.
It's
just
absolutely beautiful.
Beautiful.
Well, what
the
about
details.
that building that was right across the street from Hyde Park, where they're keeping the entire outside of
Oh,
the building,
yes,
but they have
yes.
completely gutted, including the
Completely.
roof, the entire thing. So they're rebuilding it from the inside out, probably
Right.
to be ultra modern, ultra expensive apartments or whatever they may be. But it's just beautiful that they preserve that history,
Right.
And the new buildings, like they're just gorgeous. The architecturally just
So
gorgeous.
nice. It's amazing to me.
Guys, I think we're getting fucked in America. I just want to say, I feel like, no rush. And the other thing is, like, you got to understand, we went to the pub probably at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon and packed. I mean, packed. And
Yeah.
again, there was no, oh shit, I've got to be going to, back to work. Or it was just like they were there, they were having their drinks and going on about their day and their business. So just very,
Less rushed.
very different than the United States.
Yes.
Yeah. And you could actually stop and appreciate a drink, a meal, your surroundings and things like that. And for the most part, I would say, with the exception of one shitty bartender, people have
Right.
been overwhelmingly polite,
Very
and
nice.
kind,
Yeah.
and understanding of us. And I think that goes both ways, I think that we've been very good stewards.
We've been very, very nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
In addition to bringing New Balance to the masses, we also didn't act like probably typical Americans do and feel like, oh, you
Yeah.
should wait on me hand and foot, or, this isn't like it's back home, so I don't like it. It's like,
Right.
all right, well, this is a new adventure that we get to experience and ultimately have a wonderful story over it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
and as Rob and Kennedy would say, what's the least boring thing that happened to you yesterday? Well, plenty of things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Too
Our
much
cup
to think about.
runneth
Yeah.
over, if you will. So it was absolutely amazing time. We're gonna finish it out strong tonight. By that I mean fish and chips and probably in bed early, and get a great night's rest, and then we head back to the mothership.
Yep.
Back to
Up
the
and out.
USSSA.
Tomorrow's a big travel day.
Yep, big travel day. Now you just got one flight direct, and the
One
the
direct
family
flight.
picks you up, right?
It doesn't. I don't leave until a little bit later in the day, but that's fine. We'll
Nice.
go together. I'll
Yep.
hang out at the old airport, and again, I don't know what the customs is like leaving. I was saying I was amazed how easy it was to get into London. It's amazing.
Yeah, we'll see how hard it is to get out.
Yeah,
But yeah, overall,
But that's fine.
just a great experience, a phenomenal event as far as the content's concerned. Great people, 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Glad we came.
Coming to London anytime. One thing, just to be clear, I mean, London is not cheap. Even European people are like, oh yeah, London is definitely the
Yeah.
most expensive. So, don't, my advice to you would be, don't get sticker shock and just enjoy the trip. Now, if you're coming over here super broke, I wouldn't recommend it. Like if you have to watch your pennies, don't come to London. I mean, just being honest with you. But if you have a little bit of a cushion and you save some pennies, like it's good just to go and experience and just enjoy and not let those things kind of
I agree. It's
distract.
definitely one of those places to check off the list. Very pleased that I get to see so many amazing. And again, it was like better than I could have possibly imagined.
Yeah. And
Much better than I had it in my mind.
The same way you thought about Buckingham Palace is the same way I felt about the Eiffel Tower when I saw it. It's just like you see photos,
Right.
you see video, you see people talk
It's
about
definitely
it.
not the same.
It's not the same as seeing it
Yeah,
in
you have
person.
to see it in person.
Yeah, and I mean, seeing Buckingham Palace, and even though the Queen was there, obviously they weren't doing a changing of the guard or anything like that. It's just beautiful to kind of see.
It really was.
All of that and,
Yeah.
and all the pageantry and all the spectacle that goes into
Absolutely.
to that.
Yep.
And I don't know how much of that is for London tourists, but even if it is, they're making a healthy mint off of it for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So, what are your plans when you go home? I'm curious.
I'm going to be sorely disappointed now. I'm going to, I guess catch up on my sleep
I'm figuring 2 days, hopefully, for the jet lag. I'm hoping Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and by Monday.
That's what I figure.
Back. I'm
yes.
praying that by Monday I'll be back to the 9-to-5 life.
Yeah, and then I'll edit Ollie's wonderful notes, which actually, surprisingly, I did. I think that the first couple of days I was like, maybe not as much, but I don't know how many pages I get, 60, 70, 80, something like that. But, it's definitely some good information in there. And
stuff that's working right now. That's the great thing. This isn't theory. This isn't like, I'm going to try. It's like, no. This is what I've done. And as a result, here's what I'm seeing. Right. Here's what's working, everything like that.
And there was a nice selection to, again, you get the webinars, you had the email, you had the copywriting. It was a good overview, I think.
Yeah.
Everybody talked about the same thing.
If you're in a funk, or you're kind of undecided, or you're just like, man, I feel like I'm afloat at sea, try to find a live event about whatever it is that you do. Mm-hmm. Because just being around like-minded people,
absolutely,
talking about stuff will let you know things that you want to do and then things that you don't want to do.
Right.
I have a bigger list of things I probably don't want to do after this trip than things I do business-wise. And that's okay, because at the end of the day, you've got to make yourself happy, because there's nothing worse than working at a job, or God forbid, building a business that you fucking hate. No, thank you.
Right.
Yeah. So much like you, I think the weekend is going to be crazy. Catching up with sleep.
Yes.
I've got.
Here's to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got all of Amazon waiting for me at my house, I believe. So I've got to get back into doing that, and then ultimately, I'll probably do this on the plane, kind of digesting everything and being like, all right, I'm not going to come up with a plan forever, but at least let's plant our a general direction flag.
Right, good.
And let's get to work on that. And apparently, if I email my customers, they'll spend money with me. So if I just take out that little part of not emailing my customers, maybe the couple.
Yeah, we're going to get Tim back to contact you guys again.
Yeah, I got to get back to making money. So, and releasing these podcasts that we've now recorded 20 episodes. We've had editors do. It's like, it's time.
The people want to hear, Tim. They're asking for it.
Well, we'll see. And we'll know because you will have left a review.
Of course you will.
You have given a thumbs up. Yep. You will have left a comment. If you are listening to this, listen to me. I am a whore when it comes to validation from others, in terms of, if you leave me a comment, you let me know someone's out there, that we're not just talking to the ether, that we didn't just fly from the United States, right, all the way over here, get subjected to our COVID testing, have to put up with 3 days of nonstop speakers, and spend all this time, energy over here for no reason. And the reason why I give you guys a look behind the business and life in this podcast is to just, show you the other side, the non-Instagram, non-Facebook side of things, in terms of not plastic, it's not fake, it's absolute real world. It's how we're feeling at that time and at that moment. And I appreciate you guys listening. I appreciate even more those who take just a few seconds out of your day to help us out with a comment, a rating, a review, whatever it may be, just to let me know there's we're not broadcasting out to the darkness, that there is some light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not just a train coming to run us over again. So thanks for listening, guys. The next one of these will probably be a solo podcast. Me back in America crying and being like, why did I have to come back? Why? Where's the green? Where's the fish and chips? Where's the, all day pub runs? Where?
Lovely British accents.
Yeah, and those lovely British accents that Sue
I just adore. I can't get enough of you British folks.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's absolutely amazing. So thanks for listening, guys. It's been our pleasure letting you see behind the curtain of this trip overseas. We'll definitely do more of these in the future. And I guess soon now we got to start talking about planning a trip maybe later in the year, once America gets their head out of their ass and lets us fly without masks.
Yep.
Be nice.
I mean, I think, and I do agree that we can just knock out like a whole shitload of podcasts. I mean, it's great. Yeah. It's great to get the content, batch the content, do whatever 10 in 3 days or whatever.
Right.
Batch it up, and then you don't have to kind of worry about it, or
Yeah,
it's there. It just makes you feel so productive too.
And I'm a big believer
You know?
in empty the well and then give that well time to fill back
Right.
up.
And I think that's smart.
Yeah, and that's what we've done here, and that's why we were able to knock out so many, because it's like, oh man, do I have shit to talk about
Yeah.
since we've seen each other. So
Right.
thanks, guys, for being along with the journey. I will be talking to you soon, I'm sure, and I will try to carry the weight for both of us in the next one and beyond, and we'll do better on the next trip for you.
The next trip to Italy.
Okay, she's already
Please
started
comment,
this.
folks.
All right.
Send Sue to Italy.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you guys send Sue to Italy
Yeah.
by buying some shit, so Tim can afford sending Sue to
Right,
Italy.
yeah.
And
Buy
not,
two if
and
you
not
want.
come back to a homeless
You love
shelter.
it so much.
Yeah, I don't. Van life is fun when it's an option, not when it's your only
Right.
choice, for sure. So, thanks for listening, guys, for the 100th time. We'll see you again soon.